Hello there, Ian here once again, and I very much hope this is catching you well. I'd like to share an idea that has come up or been discussed a lot in the companies that we're dealing with. And I really think that if we take it to heart, we can improve the performance of our organizations and help them scale up effectively and sustainably. And that idea really has a lot to do with the interplay between the most senior levels of the company and the most junior. Now, one of the biggest changes that we've seen in leadership is actually at the sort of other end of the scale. It's actually in followership. In days gone by, not so long ago, it was a very top-down hierarchy, and we expected that as a junior member of a company, we expected ideas and instructions to flow down to us. We are used to being told what to do and who we, in quotes, report to. And that was an established way of doing business. These days, in the new millennium, even the most junior people or team members in companies now want to be seen more than ever as co-collaborators in the mission and achieving the goals of the company. So if we take a look back at how we used to talk about these things, and some of that language still exists, and we talk about, I'm reporting to this person. So my solid line is to my country manager, but I have a dotted line to the head of the region. And we have these descriptions of solid lines and dotted lines. But in reality, dotted lines are everywhere. We have dotted lines to our co-workers in other departments, and really it's these dotted lines that are at least as valuable as the solid ones. If we look at the most successful organizations in nature, for example an ant colony or a beehive, these structures, these communities are incredibly successful, largely because information is shared with everybody. Everybody knows everything that they need to know about where the food is, the environment, is it too hot, too cold? The information is shared amongst everybody. So let's take our cue from nature and not be quite as hierarchical as a structure chart might suggest. So practically, how do we do that? You might be saying, well, yeah, I kind of get that, but right now, what do I do? How do I put that into practice? And here are a couple of quick ideas. It's a large field, but here are a couple of quick to-dos. The first one is I would highly suggest that we do away with these structure charts, these sort of organograms or whatever you call them, where we have a head and a line and then these report to these people. They might be okay for planning tools to get a feel for who's doing what, but I think their days have come to an end, really. And just to give you another example, when I was in my second job, I was heading up a small software function, and one of my team members was looking at a structure chart, and he saw his name, and his name was actually appearing below the line of the footer in the document on the piece of paper. So he would see the footer and it had the date and page number, and his name appeared below the date, and he was saying, look, this is the measure of my worth, I'm even below the date. And we laughed about it because his contributions were very key in the function. But it goes to show that In a structure chart, if we see our name a lot of levels deep from the head of the company, it suggests that we have a large amount of strategic distance between what we do and the effect that it has on the company's direction, its goals, and its profitability. Now, of course, each function has to have somebody accountable for it, that's for sure, to make sure that it's healthy and doing what it's supposed to do, but I wouldn't represent that in a structure chart. The next thing that I would do is engage as much as possible on a regular basis with those most junior team members. If you are the CEO, the COO, or the CXO, C something O, make sure that you're engaging people on a regular basis at the most junior level in the company. You haven't got to do it every day, but at least say once a week, make sure that you're engaging, that you're learning what they're doing, what their problems are, and what their ideas might be. Last quick idea for now is to engage people in these cross-border projects. Now, let's take a function that would appear to be quite hierarchical. Let's say the accounting function. And I praise accountants because it's a job that I could never do. Yeah. But the monthly and year-end accounts still have to be produced. There are rules for how they get produced, and they have to go to the person accountable for that function. Ultimately, the CEO needs to have sign-off authority for the financial performance of the company. So that is necessarily quite a hierarchical function. However, when we launch a new product or a new service, or we open up a new branch somewhere, or we hire other people, are we getting input cross-functionally for that new service? What are the implications for the accounts department? What are the accounts department's ideas on making that new product or service a success? We often get the best ideas, or at least we often get contributing ideas across these different functions, and we encourage a connection between someone's job and the performance of the company. So I take those three things into play. The overriding idea is people now, more than ever, want to be part of something more than just their job. How do we do that? There are lots of ways, but those three quick ideas. I would remove structure charts because it implies a good deal of strategic distance. I would engage as much as possible with the most junior team members in the organization. Even if you can't do it physically, you can't go to that location, we can do it through video conference. Engage them, find out what they're struggling with and what their ideas are. Lastly, engage people in cross-functional projects. A new service, a new location, a new product. You're hiring a new team to do this. It's amazing what ideas other people can have from other functions in relation to that new initiative. So employ cross-functional teams to help you accelerate your performance. I really hope that did make sense. I hope it gave you an idea or two, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.